Guys, we need to talk about the Isle Spinosaurus. No, not this one. This one. Every time I see this animal, something inside of me just gets excited. The only thing I can relate it to is, you know, when you're out in public and you see someone who's really attractive and you're just like, wow. That's me every time I see this animal. Every time. Like, this is you. And then this is the guy she tells you not to worry about. And then she's the Deinosuchus in this picture. I'm gonna try and control my excitement for this animal during this video, but it's gonna be so hard. For those who don't remember, let me give you a rundown of Spino's concept art, just so we can get a little gist of what's in store. Bear in mind, this concept art has gone through a lot of criticism because it doesn't show Spino really doing anything apart from killing, but in my opinion, for Spino, that's okay, because it's cool as hell. Alberto's concept, that's where things start to get a bit lame, but we'll leave that there. Why is its neck so girthy? Like, I'm not used to that level of girth. Moving on, Spino is shown eviscerating a Tenno, scaring the life out of a few Bipes, humbling a Minmi, attacking a Deinosuchus underwater, flipping an Anki, an animal that T-Rex would think twice about hunting, then slapping a Deinocheirus. This thing. Look at Deinocheirus and tell me what sort of monster do you have to be to square up to one and start throwing hands. Also, how badass does Cheirus look here? Spino is just gonna be a menace, and what's gonna stop it? Rex? Giga? I don't think I'd ever need to call upon the other apexes to help stop an Avenger level threat, because I just can't see a world where Spino doesn't dominate every environment it's in. I guess Rex could just use brute force because it's Rex, but would Giga even be equipped to fight Spino? Especially considering Giga's hunting style is hinted at being long and drawn out, but that's usually against big, slow-moving herbivorous megafauna, not Spinosaurus. Either way, however it's going to work out, the apex interactions are going to be very interesting and very cool to see. I've seen some people say that Suchos could face off against adult Spinos. I think that's just some high-grade copium, because people are still discussing whether Suchos should be able to swim or not. How cool and interesting would it be if the devs gave us a semi-aquatic that can't swim and isn't viable in water? How thoughtful. The best way to stop Spinosaurus is to simply kill them when they're young. Yes, that's a given for every troublesome species within the Isle, but how many animals have been shown to be able to flip an Ankylosaurus and actively bum Deinosuchus at every showing? And to be honest, if you're playing Spino and you make it to full adult, you deserve it. You've managed to survive Ostros, Heras, Bipes, Barrys, Suchos, Deinocheirus, other Spinos and Deinosuchus, and that's only accounting for the semi-aquatic roster, and I do maintain that Barry, Sucho and Spino should probably have each other on their diet. For example, if an adult Baryonyx is hunting and it comes across a baby Spinosaurus, it's in that Barry's best interest to get rid of the competition, feed itself, and feed any potential children it has to help further along its bloodline, which by extension would continue to reduce the Spino population in the long term, because there's more Barrys in circulation in the environment hunting them. But if the Baryonyx doesn't have an innate incentive to hunt the baby Spino, then the Spino could easily return in the near future, posing a greater threat than it did before. And let's remember, Baryonyx is rumoured to be around 1.3 tons, up to potentially 2 tons, so it'd take perfect diet, maybe 2 hours or less. But if a juvie Spino has a perfect diet and it's been active for the same amount of time, then it's going to be more than big enough to contest an adult Baryonyx. It kinda reminds me of what people were saying about Rex being a problem in Avrima. The second Rex gets near 2 tons, it's going to be close to unstoppable, it'll be fast, and it will also pack enough of a punch to where it's a real threat. But that's a whole different discussion that we're not going to get into today. I still don't think we have a confirmed weight or size for Spino. I keep seeing this image and I hope it's not the actual size difference. Whilst Nova's size chart has it at a possible 9 tons, being the heaviest carnivore in the game, that coupled with the alleged size difference, and the fact weight is tied to health, guys, it may be over for us. It may be over for the other inhabitants of the Isle. Also, I have a question for you guys. Since this seems to be very controversial whenever Spino is brought up, what would you personally prefer to see in the Isle? A realistic Spinosaurus like in Path of Titans, or this Evrimified beauty of a Spinosaurus? And when answering this, remember the viability of the animal. Remember, think of the viability of a realistic Spino when it's going to encounter Deinosuchus, Deinocheirus, Rex, and I mean, to be honest, I think Deinocheirus would bully realistic Spino in-game and in real life. At the end of the day, I think the devs have made the perfect predator. Spino is seemingly in a class of its own when it comes to its stature. It'll dominate the waterways, and it's more than capable of dominating on land too. When this thing is released, the struggle of power is going to get a lot more intense. Man, I think it's beautiful. Even its walking animation emits a certain level of spiritual pressure. It looks evil. It looks like how I want to be. I wish I had this much aura. If Spino is the Sukuna of the Isle, I'm telling you. Like, he's just walking with so much confidence. He knows he's the apex. Also, what do we think of this Barry model? I'm not the biggest fan of the skin, but other than that, it's looking pretty nice. Them claws are looking formidable as hell. I hope Barry can stand its ground against the Ceratosaurus in a 1v1, but considering Sarah has bleed resistance, I doubt it. I'm just praying Barry isn't underpowered. Before I end this video, I'd like to shout out Lupinus Polyphilus, I hope I've said it right. She's an absolute gem who made this fan art of me and Kingfisher. She did it in what felt like 10 minutes. She's an incredibly talented individual. If you'd like some art doing, give her a shout, check her out, she's incredible. Anyway, I hope you guys have had a great day. I'm gonna suffer playing some Overwatch competitive. Then I'm gonna run to the gym and do some cardio. So hopefully you guys have had an equally good evening, or will do. Yeah, have a lovely one guys, and hopefully I'll see you soon.